What's up, y'all? It's your girl Trapp, and I'm back like I never left. I'm back like I never left. I'm gonna be telling y'all a story time of the time I pulled the thing out on a family member, on a relative. I'm not gonna say what family member because it really doesn't matter, but I'm gonna tell you the story of the time that I pulled that thing out on a family member. And what is that thing? What is that thing that I'm talking about? The pew pew. And we're gonna give this family member a fake name because I do want to protect their identity. And I just want you all to know that this video is not a video of me boasting and bragging. This is a video that I'm really not proud to discuss, but I'm proud to discuss. Because ninjas got me effed up. What just fell in my shirt? So, I'm going to give this relative a fake description. The description that I'm going to give this relative, it's not real, but the things did happen, okay? So I'm going to give this, the description that I'm going to give this relative will be, her name will be Sandra. Fake name, not real, okay? Just so I can follow along. And Sandra is my relative. That's all I'm going to say, relative. I'm not going to say what relative, but I'm going to tell you the story of when I pulled out the pew pew on a relative, on a family member. And I'm going to tell you why I got that far. And I'm going to tell you, right. So now, I feel like what's leading me to tell this story is the fact that the other day, my mother tried to throw it in my face because I decided to pull out a pew pew. While my relative was in my home. Now, first off, I'm going to say this. This is how it started, okay? So Sandra is a relative. I'm not going to say which relative. Sandra is a relative that I've known all my life. Sandra and I were really close, right? So throughout life, Sandra and I used to be like best friends. Until I'm sorry about that. I got a call coming in. So as I was saying, I had a call coming in. Sorry about that. Sandra and I used to be really, really close. We were like really, we were relatives, but we were really best friends. So Sandra and I became adults, and I started to lead my life as an adult. I created a family of my own. I broke away from Sandra just a bit. You're beautiful, thank you. So I began breaking away from Sandra because I had to focus on the family that I created. So anyways, Sandra didn't have a family at the time. But Sandra would go through really tough hardships in her life. And as a relative, I cared for Sandra. And I wanted to help Sandra as much as I could in life, in her life. Because I was in a better position than Sandra. Financially, home, whatever you want to call it. I was in a better position than Sandra because of the choices that I decided to make. So Sandra was struggling a lot. And I helped Sandra. Now, there came a time when Sandra didn't have a place to live. Her home life was on the line. And she didn't know where she was going to live. And me being an amazing, kind relative who wanted to look out for Sandra, allowed Sandra to live with her. I moved Sandra into my house. Sandra and I became very close. Pause. Before I moved Sandra into my house, there was a time. Oh, yeah. Perfect time. Perfect. No pause. We'll continue. So I moved Sandra into my house to help Sandra with a place to stay. Y'all, don't move relatives in your house. This is completely a lesson learned. So I moved Sandra into my house to help Sandra with shelter because she didn't have anywhere to live. Something happened with Sandra with someone else. And Sandra and that someone else that I knew, they had like issues towards each other. So Sandra, and we're going to name this person Dave. Sandra and Dave had issues with each other, right? But I knew Dave, and I was cool with Dave, right? And I didn't have any issues with Dave, but Sandra had issues with Dave. And Sandra felt because she had issues with Dave, this is the relative that I eventually pulled the pew-pew out on years later after this incident. Sandra felt like because she had issues with Dave, I should have issues with Dave. But I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel like I should have issues with Dave. Anyways, Sandra started to act very weird towards me. And I couldn't understand why she was acting weird. Because I'm like, yeah, she did tell me this about Dave. But I'm still going to move how I want to move in my life with Dave. So Sandra ended up getting very upset with me because I wasn't allying with her and hating Dave. Now, one thing led to another, and Sandra insisted on working overtime to ruin Dave. And when she worked overtime to ruin Dave, I understood, okay, what's going on? Okay, I'm going to stay in my lane. That's really none of my business. She can feel how she feels about Dave. Because I'm very good at separating my feelings. You know, I'm good with separating myself from situations and outcomes, right? I'm very good from that. I'm very good with that. Like, I'm not about to catch no feelings because you got feelings towards somebody. I'm not doing it. You know, especially if I didn't catch wind of what it is you're talking about. I am not about to do that. So anyways, Sandra became very upset over time, weeks to even months. Sandra became very upset because she seen that she couldn't get in between me and Dave's friendship. I wasn't getting mad. I wasn't getting upset. Boom. Sandra knew, though, while she was living with me, some details that I told her. You know, when someone lives with you, you need somebody to confide in, right? So you think you need somebody to confide in. That's what I did. I confided in Sandra, and I let Sandra know about some situations that I was going that I had going on in my life. And I told Sandra because I thought I could trust her. So when I told Sandra the very personal, intimate details of my life, Sandra promised me she wouldn't say anything. This is before her hate for Dave started to brew. So then Sandra eventually was so mad that over weeks and months, like over weeks to months, she was so mad that I was not responding in a negative light, that instead of keeping her anger towards Dave, she shifted towards me. And keep in mind, I had her living in my house. So Sandra was living with me, and a whole big craziness happened with Dave and over Dave's house. A whole big crazy altercations, fighting, ratchetness happened at Dave's house. Then I was home. I went home. And she came to my house and she started to bring that energy to my house, where my son was, where my ex was at the time. And that day she was on a vengeance. She walked into my house. My son was like 3 or 4 at the time. She walked into my house and she's like trying to blackmail me. And she starts trying to blurt out the business that I told her not to talk about, because I'm going to tell whatever I need to talk about. I'm going to handle it on my own, in my own time, when I leave and I move, and whatever the situation was. That's neither here or there. But Sandra was so mad at Dave that and she was so mad that I wasn't responding to Dave negatively. She came to my house and she started blackmailing me with the information that I gave her. And I was like, are you kidding me? So once I seen that she was blackmailing me, I was like, okay, my son is here. My ex is here. She's literally calling me names in my house. You hoe, you slut, you this, you that, you bitch. That's what she's calling me in my house with my little boy, causing a scene in my house. And I was literally sitting on my bed. I just remember this when I used to smoke the Newport 100s. And I literally helped this lady stay and live in my house. This relative, Sandra. And I'm literally sitting there smoking I used to smoke, y'all. I was a smoker, okay? Smoking my Newport, right? And I was just trying to stay calm. That's how I am. I don't like altercations. I don't like fights. I don't like things like that. So as she's blurting out, I'm starting to realize, oh, she's trying to blackmail me. I get upset because I'm like, okay, now you're disrespecting my house. You're disrespecting me in my house, the same house that I pulled you in when you had nowhere to live and you had nowhere to go or wash your ass. And I live with other people. And the things that I told you I didn't want to be spoken about, you're blurting them out one by one. So calling me a B, calling me a hoe, just really, really disrupting my home environment. So now I get up and I get mad and I say, you know what? People are coming out, the other people that I live with, that has nothing to do with what's going on in my personal life, are coming out like, what's going on? Why is she acting like that? And I'm like, wait, I don't even know why she's acting like that in my house. But you know what? Whatever blackmailing she has to do, she's going to do tonight. That's what is going to happen, because she's crossing the line. So I get up and I throw my phone towards her to get her out of my house. This is when I never used to call police. I call police now. But back then it was straight up, we fighting. I'll be so honest. We squabbling. That's what it was. That was old Trapp. So now I'm like, oh, she causing a scene in my house. My kid, oh no, get out of my house. So I follow her out my house and we start squabbling outside. Me and this relative start squabbling outside. Because I'm like, oh, she crossing the line now. So we start squabbling or whatever. Meaning we got into a physical altercation. And The fight broke up. I was very distraught about what happened. We didn't speak for so long. Oh, this relative had just got a boyfriend. Let me add this part in. This relative had just got a boyfriend that she just met. And we fighting outside. We fist fighting outside. And her boyfriend comes over to me and pushes me. And my initial instinct, because I grew up with brothers now. Okay? Fighting my brothers. So when this person pushed me, my instinct came out. When he pushed me, I punch him in the face. And when I punch him in the face, he grabs me. And while he slams me on the floor. And while it's the winter time, ice was on the floor, everything. He picks me up, slams me on the floor. My relative that was dating him, after she just made all that ruckus in my house, comes over to me while I'm on the floor and punches me in my face a few times. So now I'm like, oh, we fighting, but now you want to jump me with your boyfriend? You just met your boyfriend. And you want to jump me with your boyfriend after you done disrespected my house? I was distraught. But anyway, she ran in her car. She locked herself in the car. She went by her business. Oh, she blurted out all my business in my house that I told her not to speak on. Do not ever let relatives live in your house. Biggest mistake you can make is having relatives live in your house. Helping a relative is a no-no. Okay? If you are not their mother, helping a relative should be a no-no. Because some of them are just wicked and bad-minded. So now, she slams me on the floor. She gets in the car. They drive off in the darkness, in the night. All right. I go inside. I feel so betrayed. I feel so upset. Like, how could she be mad at Dave and then bring that energy she got with Dave into my house where my kid is? I thought it was better than that. And I just supplied you with a roof over your head. Cool, no problem. I had to go through that process. Boom. A year went by. I didn't talk to her. 2 years went by. I didn't talk to her. I felt like I wanted, anytime I seen her, it was going to be on sight. 2 hands. That's how I felt. But I started my spiritual journey, and God, the divine, taught me why violence is not the answer. Why I need to forgive and why I need to move on. So I worked on forgiving and I worked on moving on. Eventually, I don't know how, but me and Sandra, the relative, started speaking again. And Sandra wanted to come over my house. The same house that she spilled all my beans and business in and had me in hell. Hell broke loose when she spilled my beans. I had to move out my house. Anyways. But I ended up going back home and things became cool, right? It was good eventually. It took a year and change. Anyways, I forgave Sandra. And I allowed her to, she wanted to hang out. And she's like, we should hang out. I started working on my business. I started working on the things that I love to do in my life. I started putting work in my, bringing my life to fruition. Everything I started to put together. Anyway, in this time, she came over my house. She started hanging out at my house a lot again. And thank you, Jacob. I appreciate you for the gift. She started hanging out at my house again. And I forgave her, but I still remembered, okay, what she could do, the damage she can cause. So thank you so much, Jacob. I appreciate you. So now we're like hanging out. At the time, like I said, I used to smoke. I used to smoke my cigarettes or whatever. And when I did, anyway, she did too. She did as well. So Sandra was like a relative that would come around that always needed help. It seemed like she was always needing of something. And I was so used to helping her. But then after that situation happened, I was like, no, the relationship changed a bit. It's like, nah, you gotta contribute. Like, you can't come around me, use me, and abuse me, Sandra. I know we relatives or whatever. I know we family or whatever, but you can't do that. So she came over my house, and we both was like, we both was sharing the cartons of Newports. So now, right? But what I was smoking, wasn't mine. It was my partner's at the time that I was with. And she was helping herself to that carton. Sandra was helping herself to that carton. But I'm like, Sandra, we can't finish this because this is not mine. So if we do finish this carton, you have to make sure you help me buy back another one. At the time, I was like, you got to go half on another one. We were young. Or whatever the case may be. So now she's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll do that. Don't worry. So she sit there and she helping me finish my carton. And I'm like, okay, now it's time for us to go to the store. We took it was a nice summer day. We walked to the store. When I walked to the store, Sandra didn't want to contribute like she said she was going to contribute. So I got mad because I felt like she's using me now. Like, now you playing. Now you playing. You said that if you finish this carton with me, you're gonna contribute and give me back more. You're gonna contribute and we're gonna get some more so that I can give it back to who I was originally. That carton wasn't even mine. So she gonna tell me while she was in my house, she was like, we get back to my house, and I'm like, Sandra, you gotta give me the money for that. She's like, no, I'm not going to give you no money. I said, but that's what we talked about. And you over here freeloading on this new carton that I got. We talked about what we're going to do. You're going to give me the money for that. Like, for real. Now I'm not going to give you the money. My money is for she had a boyfriend at the time. My money is for my boyfriend. And I'm like, but this is for mine. Like, what are you talking about? So she tried to bulldog me in my house. After I forgave her. So now I'm like, okay, it's not even about the carton. Now I'm not even mad about the carton. I'm mad because she think she could keep disrespecting me with my things in my house. Okay? So now I get upset. She's upset. And I'm like, you know what? If you're not going to help, can you just get out my house? Get out my house. Leave my house. Because she was at my house. She was like, no, I'm not getting out. I'm not leaving your house. No. So remember, this was the time I never believed in calling police. Okay? I never believed in that. So she don't get out my house. I go and I attack her because she didn't want to get out my house. And she was causing a scene in my house. And then it was like everything that she did to me, though, that year with Dave, when she ruined my house and she jumped me with her boyfriend, all of that came out. And so I started to, we started getting physical. Me and this relative started getting physical. I went over and I hit her. Not over the carton, but over the fact that you're trying to disrespect me. It trickles down to the little things. I pay attention to the little things. You're not going to disrespect me in my house. Now I'm telling you to leave because I feel disrespected. And now you're trying to tell you going to sit in my house and not leave. So now we start fighting. We fighting. We fist fighting. We just fighting with our hands. Right? Sandra goes, right? Sandra gets mad. Sandra picks up a bottle. And I never would think. Because remember, we're relatives. We're relatives. I would never think in a million years that Sandra would pick up a bottle and throw it in my face. She picks up a bottle. We just fighting now. I'm just used to fighting with my hands. This is when I used to fight. So I just think we about to just squabble real quick. My mom was at the house too. It was crazy. My mom trying to break us up, me and my relative. But anyways, my mom pulls us apart. We get pulled apart. When we get pulled apart from the altercation, right? Because she wouldn't leave my house. Then Sandra is far away from me. She's so far away from me. Sandra is far away from me. Sandra picks up a bottle. I don't think it was a bottle. I think it was no, it was a bottle. Sandra picks up a bottle, my relative, throws it in my face. Blood start leaking from my face. And I'm just thinking to myself, in my head, did this bitch just bust my eye open? She bust my eye open. You my relative. This is when I used to think square. I used to think we're going to do this the right way, square and fair. Oh, Sandra bust my eye open. I had a scar on my face. She could have literally knocked my eyeball out in my house. So you know what I did? I went to my kitchen and I picked up that pointy stuff. Because now you're using weapons to harm me. Now I went to my kitchen and I picked up a knife. And I was so angry that my face was leaking. Because you lied. That relative lied. And didn't contribute like she said she would. And she also been doing some foul stuff to me. But because I'm quiet and I let things slide, she thinks that I'm going to keep letting things slide. I'm not that bitch. Thank you for the gift. So now I go in my house and I pick up a knife. Because she just threw some object at my eye. And when she sees me go and pick it up, then she runs out my house. She runs out my house. When she runs out my house, I don't follow her out my house. I lock the door. Because that's why we were there in the first place. I asked you to leave. You didn't want to leave. Now we're getting physical. Period. This is when I didn't believe in calling police. But now I call police. She got out my house. She left. That was disrespectful. When somebody asks you to leave their house, you leave. If I ask you to leave my house, you leave. She said, no, I'm not leaving, and sat on my couch. And I was so young, I didn't think about calling police. I just thought about, all right, we're going to fight. You're not going to leave my house, we're going to fight. And she picks up an object and throws it in my face. Oh, I forgot to add. I had just bought a microphone. You see, I got collections of microphones. You see, microphone. That's my passion. I love to speak. I love mics. I love music. So my very first microphone, she knew that I was building for this point that I am here in now. Sandra knew. So Sandra, before I pick up, here's why I went and got the knife. This is why I went and got the knife. So I went and got the knife because after Sandra threw the bottle in my face, Sandra got up, picked up my microphone that I just bought and spent money on. Like I was showing them, like before all of that went down in the living room of my house, I was showing them how happy I was for my new mic. I was showing Sandra, I'm showing my mom. I was like, look at my new mic. I'm about to start, whatever. So after she refused to leave my house, then I stole on her. She picks up a bottle, throws it in my face. My face started leaking. After my face is leaking blood, She gets my microphone and she slams it on the floor. She slams my microphone on the floor. So now I'm like, oh, she's damaging my stuff. I'm bleeding and she's damaging my stuff. So now I'm running to the kitchen and I'm picking that shit up. That's what I did in my anger. Yes, I did. She jealous. She was very jealous. So when I went to go pick up the knife, Sandra runs out the house. Because that's all I wanted to do was get her out my house. But at the same time of being upset, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, Trapp, you cannot do nothing with this knife. Literally, I was thinking in my head. I'm like, you can't do nothing with this knife. You can't harm her with this knife. But when I picked it up, she ran out the house. Locked the door. Oh, now my mom's like mad. My mom was like, why would you pick up a knife on your relative? And I'm like, why would she throw a bottle in my face and have it leaking? Why wouldn't she leave my house when I asked her to leave my house? Why is she throwing my equipment that I just bought, knowing that I have a dream? Follow your dream. So now I'm the bad guy. All right, whatever, I'll take it. But she got out my house, so I was happy. My son was a little baby. He was so small. KK was little as hell. He probably don't remember this. So now she gets out my house. Remember, my eyes was leaking. That was traumatizing for me because I never thought in a million years that my relative will cause blood to come out of my face. That my relative will almost knock my eyeball out my head because I asked her to leave because she wasn't contributing and she's using me for my stuff and my space. So now I'm like, oh, okay. All right, no problem. So now she leaves. We stopped talking for so long. We stopped talking. Me and her stopped talking again. It's getting crazy. Like, you're not going to keep... She keep trying to test me. She keep trying to poke and see how far she can go with me. But like I said, I started the spiritual journey. And the divine taught me how to call 911. The divine said, Trapp, so you don't spend the rest of your life in jail for getting carried away with anger. Someone pushing you to the point of no return. Call 911. Start practicing to call 911. In the past, in my family, we was raised to not call 911. We was raised to not call the police. We was raised like that. So that wasn't never my first instinct to call the police. Now it is. Now my first instinct is to call 911 because I trained myself. I even trained my son. Because it's very important to know that people will push you to the point of no return and you spending your life behind bars for the next 25 to life because the law says you can't do that. Now, I started my journey. I started to say, okay, how can I handle that situation with this relative, Sandra? She's messy. She's weird. I'm not doing nothing to her. And she keeps on pushing. She keeps on poking the bear. All right. Sandra, eventually I moved from that house and I moved to a different house. And Sandra and I didn't speak for years because she kept trying me. And when I moved to my new house, Sandra was acting a bit weird. She didn't even want to come to the house. She didn't want to say congratulations, housewarming, nothing. So I peeped it. I said, okay. But then Sandra, she didn't want to come around, but Sandra started to get into situations with the same boyfriend that she jumped me and hit me with. That same boyfriend started beating her. He started physically beating her. Right? Right. That's karma. Like, you can't... That's karma for that ass. Right? So they in a physical relation. They in a physical relationship. They like, she fighting him, he fighting her. It's just crazy. So now, because she's my relative and I know that they're in a physical situation and I care about my relative, and I'm like, I don't want you to get hurt, because I know what anger could do, can make people go spiral. So she asked me, she said, can I come over your house? And I was like, she's like, we're fighting, da 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 da. It gets physical, blah 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 blah. Can I come to your house? So I'm like, okay, you could come to my house, no problem. I'm not thinking nothing of it. Like, we cool, we talking on the phone, blah 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 blah, whatever. She has an issue, I don't. So I'm thinking I'm helping her. But I also understood that when I invite her to my house, she can behave a certain kind of way. So from her throwing a bottle in my face, had my face leaking, my pretty face was leaking, breaking my objects and breaking my things that I put time and work into, damaging my stuff. I could have caught the police when she threw that microphone and had her pay for it back then. But I didn't do that because I didn't know better. We not raised to call police. I'm not raised to call police. You understand? But now I've been putting in the work to call police if I need police. Because I've been putting too much work into my life to have people coming around messing it up. So now I call police for everything. So now she comes over my house, and her man that's physically abusing her, they're on the phone. The same one she jumped me with. They're on the phone, and he's genuinely trying to get advice from me. She's genuinely trying to get advice from me as well in my house. So me, I'm quiet. At the time, my son was running around wherever he was. He wasn't in the room where I was with my relative, Sandra. He was in a different part of the house. Then I had a worker. I was conducting business in my house. I am self-employed. So I was conducting business in my house. And I let her know, listen, I'm conducting business in my house. I have one of my workers here, right? I didn't even want my worker there, but that's another story. But my worker's in my house. I know you have these personal things going on, but you got to keep it quiet. You got to keep it down. You got to keep it cool because I work from home. Okay? Okay. She says she'll keep it quiet. She'll keep it cool. So she comes into my house. She comes to my house. And I'm talking to on the phone with her and her man. And I'm trying to help. I'm trying to give advice because she's asking me for help. She's like, can you explain to him this? Because he's not getting it. And I'm like, all right, I'm listening to him. I'm listening to her. I'm not no goddamn therapist, but I'm trying to help. I put myself in the middle of her shenanigans. My son's father passed away probably like a year prior. And so I'm going through my own stuff, but I'm trying to focus on the bag. I'm focused on the business. I'm focused on leveling up in life. But my behind let her come in my house because she's my relative and I want the best for her. Just to stay. She did try to see if she could live with me, but I told her, no, you can't live with me. After what you did in the past, how you disrupted my life in the past, I can't allow you to live with me ever again. But you could come for a few days if you want. That's what I'm willing to do for you. So anyway, she comes over. She's talking to her man. The phone's on speaker. I'm listening to him. I'm listening to her. They're wanting to know my advice. They're pulling me into the middle of their relationship, of their crazy catastrophe relationship that's physically abusive. And I'm like, listen, this is what I think. Da 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 da. She gets mad because of what I thought. She asked me for help. Then she gets mad because I tell her what I think. So now she starts to get irate and loud in my house. So I said, listen, Sandra, I have business going on in my living room right now. Can you please be quiet and keep it down? I know you have some family stuff going on with you in your life, but I still got to conduct my home like I have to conduct my home the right way. My son cannot hear none of this. She's loud and she's screaming and she's doing this and she's doing that. So I said, could you please keep it down? She gets quiet and then she gets loud again. And I'm like, again, can you please keep it down? Like, you're not listening. I know you're passionate, but could you please keep it down? She gets loud again. So I said, kindly, I said, listen, I'm going to just ask if you leave because this is not working out. This is not working out. I'm going to ask that you leave my house. When I tell her to leave my house, she goes to hit me, right? She goes to hit me, but she catches herself. And then I get upset. I ain't gonna lie. I got very upset. And I'm like, get out my house. Because I know how she could get. She already threw a bottle in my face. Had my face leaking, this relative. She already damaged my property in the past. I never pressed charges on her. I'm telling you to get out my house. Because you act like a weirdo. You act like a hater. You act like I'm a hot mess. Get out my house. So now I'm getting mad. And she started getting up and she started shuffling around stuff, trying to get, or whatever the case may be. And she's like, no, she's not getting out of my house. So I called the cops. And I said, listen, this girl is not getting out my house. Da 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 da. Please come and get her out of my house. Now I know to call the cops. But since she went to go and threaten me, and since she's physically assaulted me with a object in the past, I went and got that thing. Yes, I did. I went right to where it's at and I pulled it out. Never pointed it to her one time. But I said, get out my house because I'm not fighting you in front of my kid. Get out my house. I had it next to me like, get out my house. You're not going to touch me. You're not going to hit me. You're not going to assault me in front of my kid. I asked you numerous times to get out my house. I know you, Sandra, and I know how you could get. Get out my house. At this point, I don't know what she going to do to me. You understand what I'm saying? She already caused blood to seep from my eye. She already damaged product. She already caused harm to me in the past. Physical harm to me in the past. That could have changed my life had it been up a little bit higher and hit me right in the eye. I need my eye. So I'm going to pull that thing. So I pulled the thing and I kept it close to me and I let her know, do not touch me. Don't do nothing. Just walk out my house. Walk out the door. Get out my house. Police is on the way. Police is on the way. That's it. Get out my house. So now she ends up walking out my house. She gets out my house. Police pulls up. I still got it. I got it. Yes, I have it. It's to protect my home. Yes, that was the point of me getting it, to protect my home. Yes, I'm going to protect myself, my child, and my home. I don't know what anyone's capable of. I don't know what she's capable of. Because in the past, I thought all she was capable of was for us to physically fight. But in the present, in that time, she picked up in that time, in the past, she threw something in my face and it caught me off guard. And my shit was leaking. I don't trust you. I don't trust you when you're angry. Get out my house because you act like a hater and you broke my microphone. Get out my house, Sandra. I don't know what you're capable of, so I kept that thing next to me. Yes, I did. Never pointed it to her. None of that. I just kept it next to me. I gave her a warning. I don't know what she gonna do. Push keep coming to shove. Get out my house. Anyway, the police pull up. Police come inside. I welcomed them in my house. They didn't have to be in my house, but I welcomed them in my house. And they asked me what happened. I told them what happened. I said, she's going through a lot right now. I invite her over to my house. She keeps getting loud. She threatened to hit me. And I felt threatened. So I asked her, after asking her to leave numerous times and she didn't leave, she threatened to hit me. So I felt threatened. And I went and I grabbed that thing. Just in case. Because I don't know what she's capable of. But I didn't tell them that she bust my eye in the past. But I'm thinking it because I know her. I know this relative and I know how she gives it up. I know she could damage my shit. I'm not playing that. I work too hard. There ain't nobody give me nothing. Trapp, everything Trapp got, Trapp bought it herself. Okay, nobody give me nothing. So nobody gonna come around damaging my shit. And nobody gonna come around causing bodily harm to me. I don't know what this person's capable of in her anger. So now, I explained that to the cop. I said, listen, she came in my house. She making all this noise. I asked her to leave. She don't want to leave. Da da da. He asked me questions. He like, is it this? Is it that? Da 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 da. Is there a lock? He started getting into the safetyness of the safetyness of my weapon, of my weapon that I have to protect my home. He started questioning me about that. I answered his questions. And he said, listen, you did nothing wrong. You're fine. We're going to ask her to leave your premises. We're going to ask her to leave. Like you've been asking her to leave. We're going to tell her to leave. And that's what she did. She left. She left. And when she left, she started to go around telling relatives, oh, Trapp pulled out da-da-da on me. Trapp pulled out on me. I never pointed it at her one time. But I let her know, I don't know what you're capable of, and now I'm feeling threatened in my house. Get out my house. Get out my house. You're not listening. You're trying to take control. You done destroyed my house in the past. You done blackmailed me. After trying to blackmail me, you blurted out all my business, turned my life upside down, and I still forgave you, and I brought you into my house. I don't trust you, and I don't know what you're capable of. Because you act like a hater. You act like a hater, relative. Sandra, you acting like a hater. And I know you got some things going on in your life, but you're not going to bring that in my life. So now, she go ahead and she tell my mom, oh, Trapp pulled it out on me. She pulled it out. La, 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 la. And my mother was so upset with me. She was like, I can't believe you did that. I said, I don't care. Do you not remember this bitch had my eye leaking? Do you not remember her breaking my shit? And you never said nothing then? Listen, I caught the law. I caught the law. And the law intervened. And the law said, Trapp, you did nothing wrong. They just told me a bit more safe. They gave me a little safety talk and went on their way. And now I got caught. When my parents get mad, not my parents, my mom, she gets mad, she brings it up. Oh, you really did that to your relative. Yes, I did. Yes, I did, because your own relatives will be the same ones trying to knock your eyeball out your head, trying to make you lose your eyeball because they mad. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming. I didn't think my relative would ever try to jack up my beauty. But she did. I could have lost the eye. No, none of y'all said nothing then. So guess what? I'm capable of doing. I don't know if she gonna go as far as being extreme to the extreme. Because I thought it was extreme when she threw a bottle in my eye 2 years ago and my shit was leaking and nobody felt like calling the cops was the right thing to do. When I asked her to leave my house. So guess what? That's what all of y'all think. I don't fight. I don't fight. And I don't think you should ever pull out anything unless you feel like you're going to have to use it. My bad. That day, I didn't know whether or not if I was going to have to use it. I'm going to be so real. I didn't know what to expect because of how that person that relative acted in my life on numerous different occasions. And now I'm the villain in the family. Oh, I can't believe you would pull that thing. I can't believe you would do that to your sibling. You never corrected her when she had my shit leaking. You never, excuse my relative. I said sibling, my mouth is big. You never, not my sibling, my relative. You never corrected her then. Wait, you're so pretty. Thank you. You never corrected Sandra then. I don't play them games. I don't know what to expect. My son's father just passed away. I just moved into my house. Things is going good in my life. I'm starting my business. I'm engaged. Things appear as if they're going good for me. And sometimes when things are going good for you, people try to make it go bad for you. And I genuinely tried to help Sandra. I didn't say she could live with me now, because I said Sandra can't live with me. Sandra can't live with me. My cousin can't live with me. Not my cousin. My relative. She can't live with me. My relative cannot live with me. But you could come and I'll help you out. And the police left. And every now and again, my mother tries to throw it in my face and say, I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you would do that. I can't believe you do that with your family member. Well, I can't believe that my family member would do that to me. I can't believe she would have dead. Luckily, when she threw the bottle in my face, when it busted, my face busted, it was like right here. Let me show you where it was at. She busted right here, literally right in this crease. I don't know if you can see it, but right in this crease. I said, okay, when it heals, it's going to just look like my crease. Luckily, it didn't bust my eye open. She literally hit me right here with it. I was leaking. She trying to take my eye out. Sandra trying to take my eye out my head. After I helped her, I moved her in my house. I gave her shelter. She had nowhere to go. I helped this woman upgrade her life. Sandra wants to be you. I help her upgrade her life because I got a good heart. I tell her to contribute. She says she don't want to contribute. She says she gonna contribute, but when it's time to contribute, she don't contribute. Then she want to challenge me in my house when I feel disrespected, and I tell her to leave the first time. Make it make sense. So guess what? You unpredictable. Sandra, you're unpredictable. I can't believe I would never do that to you. You said, Sandra, you told me you would never tell my business when I opened up to you and I was going through something so detrimental in my life. And I told you don't tell nobody because I have to work on this goal in my life. You went ahead and was so mad at a mutual friend, Dave, that you took your frustration out on Dave and you brought your frustration you had with Dave into my house where my child sleep, where I'm working on creating a better life. You create all kinds of noise. You create all kinds of havoc. I'm used to using my two hands. I use my two hands. You use your two hands. You jump me. It just kept getting worse. The disrespect kept getting worse. The first year, you jumped me with your mans. I'm on the ground. My neck, that time when I got slammed on the ground, I had scratches all over my neck and my back from ice on the snow, from the snow. And while I was on the ground, you felt as my relative over some D that you just met. It was smart to run over to me while I was on the ground and punch me in my face. You know, that's crazy. You jumping me with a whole man that you just met. And I forgave you after that. And I let you come around me. Then after I let you come around me, you freeloading. And you acting like you gonna contribute, but you not. And I tell you to contribute. And when you get when you get mad and you start acting crazy, I tell you to leave. You don't want to leave my house. So I did what I felt like I was supposed to do. I was wrong. I should have called 911. I know, but I know now to call 911. I use my two hands. You pick up a bottle. We get broken up. We get literally pulled apart because there was two other people in my house. One pull you there, one pull me here. And it stopped. While we're broken up, I'm yards away from you. You pick up a bottle and throw it in my face and bust my eye. I forgive you after that. I invite you in my house and you beefing with the same man you thought it was cool to jump me with, Sandra. Because he beating on you now. You beating on him. Y'all beating on each other. You thought it was okay. You come in my house and you look like you about to start squabbling with me. You think I'm going to trust you? You think I'm not going to want to go get that stuff just in case? I don't want to use it. I don't want to use it, but I don't know what you're capable of. You're showing me over and over again that the disrespect is getting worse and worse and worse. Is that what you doing? So that's what happened. Police came. Now I'm the bad guy. Trapp, I can't believe you would do that to your relative Sandra. I can't believe you would do that to your relative Sandra. I can't believe she would do that to me. But I don't care how y'all feel. Because guess what? The law said, Trapp, you ain't do nothing wrong. I warned her numerous times to leave my house. She wouldn't leave. She keep testing me. She keep testing my gangster. I don't got nothing to do with what she got going on in her life. I've been living in my world. I haven't even seen you. That was the first time I invited Sandra over my house for the first time in probably like a year and change. The first time I invite you in my house, you trying to fight with me? You trying to get physical? You trying to show me you the king of my shit? You crazy. Get out my house. 911. Yeah, I got somebody in here trying to threaten me, and I don't know what they're capable of doing. All I know is I'm having flashbacks because the bitch threw a bottle in my face and I was leaking, and she broke my microphone in the past after using up my shit, and I told her to leave my house. I don't know what she capable of. I ain't say that to the cop now, but that's what I'm thinking. I kept my stuff next to me. I kept it down. Now you gotta follow the law now. In my house, gotta follow. I am a law-abiding citizen. Police came. Police scoped. Police said, all right, Trapp. She's getting out your yard. She's getting out your yard. Continue to protect your house. Protect yourself by all means. Jealousy. Exactly. Exactly. And that was so hard for me to do because, again, that was a relative. That was a family member. That's somebody that I love. Somebody that I really went to help numerous times in the past. But she kept taking it further and further and further. And then I realized, Trapp, you done worked so hard. Stop messing with this bitch. Keep her out your house. Keep her away from anything good that's happening in your life, because she's genuinely not happy. It's getting dangerous. She wasn't even mad at, she mad at Dave. And she trying to force me to think how she want me to think, because she mad at Dave. But I'm not mad at Dave. And so she mad at Dave. She come and be messy in my house after I sheltered her. After I leveled her up financially. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. You're not going to abuse me after leveling you up financially, after helping you. You're not going to disrespect me. And one thing I'm not a person that's just going to violate you just because. I got to feel violated. In the past, that's how I was. I got to feel violated to feel like I got to violate you back. And I feel like the reason I want to tell this story is because, like I said, just recently, my mother texted me and she said, "Oh, something's wrong with you, because why would you do that to you?" She brought it. That literally happened. This story time happened like 3 years ago. I'll say about 3 years ago, this story time happened. This situation happened. And my mom felt the need to bring it up this week because I started opening up about being an affair child. My father was a pastor who was legally married to his wife when my mother slept with him and got pregnant with me and gave birth to me. And so my mother was mad and she felt the need to throw that in my face. So I said, you know what? We're going to do a story time talking about this incident that took place. Damn, she got that boss B energy. She got that boss bitch energy. Thank you. You already know. And that's why these bitches be mad. Because they the whole time, Sandra could be leveling up with me. Whole time. But Sandra, and I think Sandra is in some type of competition with me. I hate to admit it. But I feel like Sandra low-key jealous. Because how you get that hostile? Because I tell you to leave my house. You feel that disrespected in yourself because I'm telling you to leave my house, that you want to cause chaos. And tell me, no, you're not going to leave my house just because we relatives. Get out of my house, please. Get out of my house. So that's why I did that. I don't care who it is. Family, friends. If I feel like you're going to harm me and I don't know how far it's going to go, that's how I'm going to react. If you ever put me in the position to wonder if it could get crazy, that's how I'm going to act. I'm going to protect myself. Now, you never point nothing at nobody now. Never point nothing at nobody. But I believe in warning people and telling them to back the F off. Especially if you don't know how far. I bet she got out. She definitely got out. And she sat in my driveway until the police came and told her to get out my yard. Get out my yard. Get off my property. Then she gonna say to me, then she gonna say, oh, I would never do that to you. This relative is gonna say, oh, I would never do that to you. I would never tell you to leave my house. I don't care how mad I am at you. And I told her, I said, I'm not you. You can't tell me how to respond. I don't want nobody I don't care who you are. Friend, family, foe. The minute I start to feel uncomfortable, I'm going to let you know I feel uncomfortable. And I'm going to request that you leave, or I'm going to tell you I'll see you later. Okay? You think you're going to hold me against my will to stop me from leaving? It's going to be a problem. And you think you're going to stay when I tell you to leave? It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. We're different. And the truth of the matter is that relative has to learn to love herself. That's the truth of the matter. That's the truth of the matter. That relative has to learn how to love herself. Because in the end of the day, instead of realizing she had a real one in her corner that cared about her well-being, instead of realizing who really loved her, which was me, her relative, who really wanted the best for her, instead of realizing that, she wanted to destroy me because things were always seeming to be going good for me. Why? Because of the choices that I decide to make in my life. So yeah, that was a very unfortunate situation that I had to go through with a relative. I come from such a crazy background. I'm gonna be so real. Violence. As a kid, exposed to violence. Moving from hood to hood. Exposed to violence. Then I was taught to not call police. So I had to really train myself to think differently. To think lawfully. Because I ain't trying to go to jail. I'm not. I'm trying to be free. Ain't nothing in there for me. Ain't no Deasley in jail for me. Deasley is not in jail. The only thing in jail is Cat. And I need Deasley. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to go there. Sandra has not had any love. Sandra has to love herself. Sandra has to love herself. It's okay because you choose a different path. Exactly. I just had to teach myself how to conduct myself in violent situations. That's the truth. I had to teach myself how to conduct myself in violent situations. Because as often as I was exposed to violence, I never liked it. I never enjoyed it. That was just my environment that I was raised in. But the more that I matured, I became a mom. I wanted to just be a bit more mature. I'm still immature as ever. But I wanted to know how to conduct myself where I know how to be more emotionally intelligent. So I spent a lot of years reading books. I spent a lot of years trying to learn my laws. I spent a lot of years learning self-defense. I've spent a lot of years as a single mom. Then my son's father passed away. I said, I ain't looking for no trouble, but guess what? Trouble, trouble, trouble. I ain't running from it either. You understand? I ain't looking for trouble, but I ain't running from it either. So I don't know. In that moment, in that day when I decided to pull that thing out, I didn't know what she was capable of. I didn't know what she was capable of. Because that day when she decided to throw that bottle in my face, I didn't know she would ever do something like that. That was not like, that was crazy. That was crazy. That was crazy. That my life could have changed. My life. Lizzo. I've had people tell me I look like Lizzo. But I look like Trapp. I have people. I'm not messing around with people. I'm quick to call 911 now. I'm quick to call 911 now, but I'm also quick to defend myself in my house. If I don't know if you would ever use deadly force against me. If I saw blood 2 years ago in my eye leaking, I don't know what you capable of in your anger. In your anger, you already showed me we moved from this to objects. That's what she showed me. When she threw that bottle in my face, she probably could have hit me in the wrong side of my head. I'll go to sleep. I can't wake up with that bottle. When you showed me that Sandra, that relative showed me we went from this to picking up objects, I didn't trust her after that. I didn't trust her after that. And I'm okay to talk about it because I know there's a lot of people who are in very sticky, dirty situations with their relatives. And thank God you are okay. Yes, I thank God all the time. I thank God all the time. And we could be in really sticky situations with our relatives. You could be working on leveling up. I was working on leveling up. Sandra knew, like from the time the first incident when Sandra came to my house and blackmailed me and we got into that physical altercation and she allowed her man to slam me and she punched me in the face while I was on the ground. That first situation should have been my wake-up call, like, Trapp, something's up with Sandra. That was some weird, I was so shocked, but I was so, because, family brainwashes you and say, oh, we're family. We're family. We're family. But no, family could do some jacked up shit too. We're family, but you going to jump me with a man? You going to jump me with a man, Sandra? You going to before you jump me with a man, we squabbling. You going to come in my house and expose my son to nonsense that he don't got nothing to do with? Expose the people that I was living with at the time to nonsense that don't got nothing to do with what we got going on outside this house? After I moved you in this house and help you, that's how you going to move? You getting messy, Sandra. Sandra started getting messy. And once I realized from one situation to another situation to the final situation, when I made it a bit more serious, because regardless of what I choose to do in my life, regardless of how I choose to move in my life, my family cannot dictate my decisions or my choices. And they can't force me to do what they want me to do. But what I could do is know who I'm dealing with. On a regular day, would I have pulled out? Would I have pulled it out? No, I wouldn't have pulled it out if it was like on some, if it was our first altercation that me and Sandra had ever gotten to. No, I would have never pulled it out. But because me and Sandra has had history of her doing some weird stuff to me that I would never do to her because we family, I had to show her. I don't know what you're capable of. And I'm warning you to just get out my house. Get out my house. I don't care how nobody feel about me in the family. I don't care if nobody say Trapp is terrible. I can't believe she's going to do that. It's all getting her to her head. I call it what you want. Because you're not going to come in my life and you're not going to damage nothing you ain't helped me create. Ain't no family member going to come in my life and damage anything. Not me. Not my health. Not my body. Not my nothing. My child. They're not doing it. If it was a different situation, no, I don't think I'd have to act that extreme. I'd have to be that extreme. Let me go get that. No, I would never. It would be on some, we could talk about it. A person with maturity would just leave. But because I've had a history with this Sandra, I'm like, I don't know what you're capable of. It don't seem like you happy for me. And I know I shouldn't take it personal because you not happy in your life. But you're not going to take that out on me. And I don't know what you're capable of. I feel threatened. I'm not fighting you. I don't know what you're capable of doing. I don't know if you're going to be freaking... more blood is going to come out of me. You've done it before. So I'm going to warn you and I'm going to tell you to get out my house. And with those situations, we definitely have to be careful with the law. This is why I'm going to tell you, I've learned a valuable lesson. Do not let relatives move in your house. The other lesson I learned in that situation is, if your relative is a hater and you could tell they got some hating ass shit going on in themselves, don't give them good news. They're not happy for you. And then the third lesson is, don't take on their problems. Don't take on their problems. Yeah, that was extreme because like I said, I come from an extreme past. I got an extreme past. And that's why I'm by myself. But that's my story time at the time I pulled out that thing on my relative. And I'm okay with telling this story because the truth is, I don't care who knows that I have this side to me. I don't care who knows. This is public documentation. I don't care who knows. Somebody said, oh, you framing yourself. I can't frame myself because the responding police officers came and left. In the state that I live in, I did nothing wrong. And every now and again, when my family get upset, they bring that up. I can't believe you did that to your relative. My relative did that to me. I can't believe my relative did that to me. Peace is better than violence. Stay away from Sandra. And that, I'm staying far away from Sandra because Sandra's a hater. I think Sandra wants things to go bad in my life. Not 100%, but I think she has some emotions in herself that she has to resolve so it doesn't bleed into me. Because every time that I was affected by Sandra, that relative, I was either helping her. I helped her move in with me. That was the first thing. I helped her move in with me. I helped her move in with me. She caused chaos in my house. I gave her some, I'm like, girl, you can have your car in. You can have some of my stuff. She acted like she was going to give me back. And then when it was time to give me back, she said she can't give me back. So I got mad. I said, it's the disrespect. Then I asked her to leave. She don't want to leave. Yeah, we started squabbling because she don't leave my house. Yeah, I threw the first punch. Yes, I did. It was wrong. I know that. That was when I would never think. I wasn't thinking. I just acted on my emotions. We got pulled apart. She throws an object in my eye. That caused me to bleed. And then she broke my microphone. As she was, after throwing it in my eyes, she picked up my stuff and broke my microphone. I goes and I pick up a sharp object to get her out of my house. Because we don't call police. And I'm trying to talk to myself while I got this sharp object. And I'm like, Trapp, Girl, look what you don't let your anger take you too far, Trapp. Literally talking to myself. Don't let your anger take you too far. My mama holding me back. Sandra runs out my house. I lock the door. I don't follow her outside. I lock the door. I just want her to get out my house. Second help. Third help, she calling me because she getting her ass whooped. I say, come stay at my house for a couple of days. She disrespecting my house after I told her to stop numerous times. And then she threatens me. Oh, you think I'm real nice? You think I'm sweet now. Now you think I'm sweet. Now you think I'm sweet, Sandra. I'm not sweet. And I don't trust you, and I don't know what you're capable of now. Because of all the nonsense you did every time I chose to help you. What you turn around and do. So look at me as the bad guy forever. That's how my relatives is looking at me. I'm the black sheep. I'm the black sheep. Look at me as the bad guy forever. I don't care. I have people so mad at me. Why would you do that? Why would you? Because y'all don't know the story. Y'all don't know what I've been through with Sandra. And I don't care what she did. Da da da. You can't do stuff. F what y'all saying. F what y'all saying. Family, friends, foes. Don't mess with me. Don't mess with me now. Don't mess with me. It's good you could control yourself. Oh, yes. I've been working on, like I said, I've been putting a lot of work on learning emotional intelligence. Because how I was raised, it was not taught in my household. In my household, emotional intelligence wasn't taught. We could get angry and we could react. But getting angry and reacting is not the right answer. Getting angry and responding is never the right answer. But getting angry, realizing that you're getting angry, and then thinking about the most conducive solution. That's what you got to do. It took me years to learn that. I ain't gonna lie, it took me years. Coming where I come from, yeah, we getting mad and we reacting. And we not thinking. And now we in trouble. Not I said the cat. Not I said the cat. If you have any relatives that has caused you bodily harm, severe bodily harm, you just can't trust them. And when you ask them to leave your house, do what you got to do. Because you don't know how far they're going to take it. You know how much people up in prison right now because it went too far? Some relatives I don't talk with. Avoid them. We do the same thing. I do the best to avoid them. Because the truth of the matter is, if you come from a toxic home environment, if you come from a toxic family, that's all they know how to do is be toxic. That never ends well. But we do have it in us, like I had it in me. I had it in me to love. And be like, because that's the first thing your toxic family gonna teach you. We family. We family, but you stealing my shit. We family, but you breaking my shit. We family, but you keep calling me out my name. We family, but you trying to sleep on my man. We family, but you don't like it when I succeed. You got that hate in your eyes. We family, but you throwing shit in my face, got me leaking, bleeding from my face. We family, but you trying to traumatize my son, or you trying to traumatize my kids. We family. No, I don't want to hear nothing about we family. I don't want to hear nothing about we family. I don't want to hear nothing about we family. Because family sometimes are the same one that will set you up to fail. And yes, that's my story time. That's my story time of the time that I pulled that thing out on a relative. And I don't feel bad that I did it either. Anyways, y'all, that's my story time. I'm about to get up out of here. Thank you all so much, all of you, for coming in, listening to my story time, tapping that screen, and showing YouTube that we are vibing and thriving. And thank you to everybody who has supported my channel today in other ways, like sending donations, super chats. Thank you all so much. I appreciate y'all so much. I love y'all. Truthfully, y'all, I'm not done for the day. I'm coming back. I think I'm going to come back and I'm going to just chill. And we just going to go with the flow. And we're going to talk some more. So I'm going to just come off here. And I'm going to catch you in the other video. Love you.